106.3.
Well, good Tuesday morning, and welcome to the WLBB Community Voice program here on News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. And this morning we are streaming live on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page, so you can check us out there and you can see my guest, Michelle Morgan. She has been the Carroll County Commission Chairman for just about 6 months, and she's already coming up on a big decision to whether she wants to qualify again or not for the race. March is qualifying. I believe the election is in May. So it's just right around the corner. And perhaps we'll talk about that on this morning's program. But we have talked about you coming on for quite a while. So I do appreciate you coming in this morning.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Want to check your level there. We good? Stephen, was that a good level? Okay, we'll get in there. I guess it's the first thing to talk about, State of Carroll County. Did you do a State of Carroll speech? Did you put something together and kind of review all departments, review the last 6 months and look into the year 2020?
I did not. Last night I did speak with the League of Women Voters, and what I put to them was talking about the upcoming census, talking about the upcoming election, but mainly the way I like to do these talks, or like when I go to the Kiwanis, when I went to the Dawnbreaker Rotary, I really prefer to talk about what you want to talk about. So I'm good with questions and answers. I'm more of a Q&A person. There's many times I sat through meetings and I've listened to elected officials or speakers talk about things, and I really want to know something else, and I'm waiting for them to finish so I can raise my hand. So I thought I'll just skip to the end of it.
Well, I'm going to talk about the census. That is one of the things I wanted to talk about. But 6 months in, I think we talk when somebody qualifies for the position, there's the discussion that, okay, you're obviously going to need a little bit of time to get acclimated to the job, and you can't do a lot of things in the first however many months.
Yes, you can.
Can you?
Yes, you can.
We'll talk about one of the first things you did, too, later on. But I would suspect a lot of people need time to figure out everything in that position and what does what and who does what and why they do it and how they do it. 6 months in, do you feel like you have a handle on this position right now, or are you still learning things?
Well, I'm still learning. I feel like I came with an advantage in that I had served as a district commissioner. So I bring something to the table that other chairmen possibly have not had that opportunity. So I know what it's like to be in their shoes, thoughts, things they want to see done. So I feel like I brought that to the table already. The business experience I've used, just about every single day. When I talk to people, I said that I brought other connections. I've talked to our elected officials at least once a week. I'm happy they're still taking my phone calls, answering my emails, and I just talk to so many people every day. And so that just kind of keeps the learning process going. The public keeps me challenged. I enjoy it. And when somebody calls and wants to have something done, if I don't know the answer, it's great to reach out to department heads, reach out to other resources in our community and see how we solve their problems.
How about your relationship with each of maybe the city leaders, city administrators, city managers, mayors?
Oh, I think it's really good, even from the beginning, and I keep reminding people that, Morgan Oil Company's been here, third generation. This sort of makes me feel old when I realize this, but Jimmy and I built Villa Rica BP when we were 30 years old. So 25 years ago, we invested in that community. So all these years, we've had a great working relationship with those that have been in office, those that have been employed. Jay Collins and I now work on a new level together, but we also had worked on, as him mayor and me a business leader, and enjoying that community. And so I see that. Carrollton, yes, I may be a lot more involved in it because I do live close here. My kids go to school in this area, but we've also supported many of the areas of Central High School, Mount Zion. I've just really enjoyed getting to know everybody on a different level or a different area, or how we have these little circles we live in. I'm now in a new circle and meeting and talking with people. So that learning curve is not really there. It's just a new environment and a new way of we working together.
Have you made any department head changes?
I have not made any. I have not fired a single person. I have actually hired one person, our warden, Jeff Richards, and it's been, I think, one of the best decisions, and I'm appreciative to him and the sheriff in working with me on this.
Well, 1 month next week. It'll be 1 month until the qualifying for the May race. Do you plan to qualify to seek re-election?
It is no secret how much I have enjoyed this job. It is no secret how much I enjoy the campaign process. So while I don't have an official press release ready right this second, I expect to see one by the end of the week.
Any decisions over the first 6 months that you made, anything that you did publicly that you regret, that maybe you weren't prepared for, and you look back on it and say, well, we should have handled that differently?
No, I look back, and one of the first things we did, and with the help of the interim chairman, the sheriff, the fire chief, we were able to take a budget and make it where our public safety, which is one of the things I had said was going to be supporting public safety, we were able to give the raises, but we were also able to give raises to every single employee. And that's important because in this workforce, it's very competitive, and I want to keep that institutional knowledge that's working with us. I want to keep them employed and not going somewhere else. So giving raises was important, and I was very appreciative that we worked together and was able to bring that. A lot of that's my business skills. A lot of it was working with the finance director going, what if? Can we do this? So that was one of the first things I was very pleased that we were able to do. Very happy that the Board of Commissioners approved that budget. And, then the next thing I think was approving the sound system. It has driven me crazy, and I know it's driven a lot of people crazy that you can't hear us. And I think that's very important if you're going to log in and either watch and listen, or even at another day, go back. And sometimes I go back and listen to the meetings to go, now, did I say that, or what did I really mean? And I go back and listen, and it's very difficult. So, yes, I spent some money and got a great sound system. We now have a big screen TV, so you can see what we're looking at if you're out in the audience. So I think that was a good decision. And there's been lots of ones in between I probably have forgotten, you might have to remind me of. But the other one is our new bronze doors. Well, I shouldn't say new, our restored bronze doors. The Ag Center and the historic courthouse are what makes Carroll County. They're the image of Carroll County. We're a rural community that we embrace being very agricultural. So remodeling that Ag Center and making it what it should be to represent Carroll County. And then you look at the historic courthouse. Those bronze doors are almost 100 years old. And having them be restored is just showing that the county itself believes in itself, wants our image to look good for the public. And so those are two things that I feel strongly about, and I'm glad I did them.
The big screen TV that
Yes.
you set up in that, was that the result of the fact that you'd lowered the commission down to level?
That actually helped. That wasn't an intention to begin with.
It was a nice idea, but I think, some people were saying, well, I can't see over like Ben Skipper's head to see who's talking.
Right. Well, that's well, no, you still can see us. It's just sometimes the person standing in front coming before us, that's the person we're really having the one-on-one with.
I think the people in the audience are behind that.
Well, and maybe we need to make sure that they don't, maybe we mark off this area and say don't sit right here but sit on the side. But just in the process of trying to be more modern and following what some of our cities are doing and looking at what other commissioners do and other municipalities, I realized we not only have to improve our sound system, but the TV came later on because I said, wait a minute now, I'm going to these municipal meetings and I'm seeing that I can look at their stuff, but we can't. So I'm learning from them too. So that was really a result of traveling around to the different cities and seeing what they're doing and recognizing that, wow, they're making a difference. I think we could do the same thing.
8:39, Michelle Morgan, Carroll County Commission Chairman, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program. If you have a question or comment, you can call us 678-601-8255, 678-601-TALK, or you can post your comments or questions to the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page, as we are streaming live there this morning. I'll take a peek at those during the break, and we'll come back with more Michelle Morgan on Community Voice, brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy.
At Oak Mountain Academy, our daily schedule includes convocation, prayer, and the Pledge of Allegiance. By doing so, we build a family-like community where all students grow and flourish and personal faith is encouraged. Through community service and a historical approach to biblical study, our students are taught the value of the warrior way, honesty, respect, and responsibility. Oak Mountain Academy, we are a family creating legacies. To learn more, visit oakmountain.us.
At Tanner, we're advancing health throughout West Georgia and East Alabama because we know that exceptional care isn't based on how many patients we serve, but how well we serve them. That's why we're focused on quality, delivering the best possible care for our patients. It's why we're expanding our clinical services and building new facilities to serve our growing community. And it's why we're looking beyond our hospitals and medical practices to develop sustainable wellness and preventive health programs in our region. What makes a hospital great has changed. It's not how many beds we have. It's how well we care for the neighbors who need them. Delivering the right care to every patient, every time, is how Tanner is advancing health with medicine beyond measure. Learn more at tanner.org or find a physician on our medical staff by calling 770-214-CARE.
Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice Program, News Talk 1330, FM 106.3, also streaming live online, newstalk1330.com, and the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. I'm Colin Worthington. Our guest is Carroll County Commission Chairman Michelle Morgan. One of the things we have talked about in the last 3 months, the announcement that along with elections for Carroll County Commission Chairman, I believe 3 other commissioners are on the ballot as well. This year, we're also going to revisit the SPLOST, Special Purpose Local Option Sales Tax. The current SPLOST, it's set to go for another year and a half, though, right?
Yes, ends on March 2021.
And I understand there's a strategy, maybe doing it a little bit early. Will that be on the November ballot, or will that be on May?
It'll be on the November.
Okay. What is the plan in bringing it up this year? Because again, it's a year ahead at that point, right, from when the current one expires?
Well, this year is a countywide election. Next year, 2021, is a municipal election. So it would be an extra expense to have a countywide election. So that's why it's on the November 2020.
And the presidential,
and it would end
more people out to vote for this, right?
And it would end on March 2021, so you'd have that 6 months before you could vote to put another one in. So you really like them to run. What we're really asking is people to renew the SPLOST, not to vote in a new one. It's to renew what we currently have got going. Well, we're just beginning that process. The Board of Commissioners are meeting on Friday. We're having an all-day retreat, and that's some of the things that our attorney will be laying out for us, a timeline, and that involves working with the city mayors. And so there's a whole process done with that. The main thing is that I think we have done really well on our SPLOST is the roads. I mean, that's like my number one call. Second, public safety. And I think when you look back and when we actually pulled out and presented for you, we've been voting all these years on SPLOST projects, but when you actually sit down and put it into a spreadsheet and show the categories, you're really going to see that we have supported public safety and roads tremendously. I know some of the buildings look the biggest, but when you're buying, deputies' cars 6 every year, you start looking, you're buying new fire engines, those things add up, but you just don't see them like you do a building.
Marty Smith, previous chairman, he made a point of, making it known that he was encouraging each commissioner to find a project, maybe, a city, municipality in their district, and come back and work that into the SPLOST. Are you doing something similar?
I don't know. That'll be something we sit down with the commissioners over the next few months and find out what projects do they see, what do they think we need in Carroll County. I know the county admin building's been a very big topic of conversation. Buildings aren't inexpensive. It may be that is the one big project we do instead of lots of smaller ones. I just think right now we're in the beginning of those conversations and seeing where we want to go. I'm asking my department heads to start working on where do they see us 6 years from now, what are their goals, what are their needs, and putting that all in together so that you look into the future on what you're going to need each year. More of we've never really done much of a 5-year plan because elected officials come in and go out. The sheriff did a great thing when I first came on board and did a 5-year plan, and I've asked our fire chief, who'll be presenting a 5-year plan for us. I think you've got to have a basis that we haven't had before. It can be changed, but at least you've got to have something going forward. So that's what I'm working on right now, just to see what do they see in needs that the rest of us might not know.
You did bring up the admin building.
Yes.
Previous SPLOST, it might have been 2 or 3 SPLOSTs ago, to where an admin building was part of the sales to get people to agree to pay that 1 cent special purpose local option sales tax, and we're to the point now where an admin building has not been produced.
Yes.
But recently, in the past couple of months, hired somebody to research and kind of determine if you want to use the current facilities or build a new project. Where do we stand with that right now?
Well, that's where I remember I was sitting there thinking, I was asking people last night, and I've asked them at different meetings. I don't even remember what I voted on in the 2013 SPLOST. Most people do not remember what they voted on. And so when I go back and I've been looking at this list and going, what of it do we want to take forward into the next SPLOST? What did we not do? What do we do really well? And so the county admin building, that's where that has come up. And, the building is old. At a Rotary meeting, I had one of the members say to me that they had been in the building, the lights were on, the water worked, the roof wasn't leaking. And I'm sitting with past chairman David Perry, and he said, I bought that building to last 20 years. It was a 20-year thing. He said, we've been in it 30 years. It's an old school for sakes. And, most people never, ever go in that building. If you don't early vote, or you absentee vote, you can pay your property taxes, in the mail with a stamp. You can get your tag, through the mail. You really never go in that building. So most people would sit there and say, we don't need a new county admin building. My husband went and early voted. He said that's the first time he'd been in that building since the third grade. And he goes, it's an old building. And when you start looking at expenses, which is the next thing I think I'm going to do, is what does the electric bill cost? What are all these things that if we were in a more modern building, and I'm not talking about fancy columns and water features, a nice office park building, would we be saving your money every year in the general fund, being more efficient? That building is just, I don't believe, going to be efficient when it comes to the electric bill, the water bill, and all sorts of things. So, do we bulldoze and build there? Do we buy land? These are all questions that, matter of fact, Marty and I were talking this morning. We both have degrees in business from West Georgia. However, he grew up in the building, the grading world. I grew up in the retail, the marketing, the accounting world. So we look at things differently, right or wrong, but it's two good perspectives. He kept bringing to us different areas of land that might work, whereas I'm sitting here going, what do we need? Whether do you need 1 acre, do you need 2 acres? It's just a different perspective, and the Board of Commissioners never could quite decide on a piece of land. Mm-hmm. So here we are going forward. I do believe we need some form of a new facility. Where it goes, what it looks like, I don't know. It'll depend on the other 6 that are with me, but I think something very simple, office park, and that is efficient for the public to come in and use the facilities, and financially it is not a drain on the general budget.
So you're leaning in that direction for a new facility. That money's already collected and it's just hanging out in the bank somewhere, right?
Well, yes, or it's been reallocated to different areas. Things that have come up over the last 6 years that, need to be taken care of, or things that people have expressed an interest in. So we have, like I said, I'll be presenting to you in the next couple months an Excel sheet or an easy way of seeing where all the money actually went, rather than just going back and tabulating each month and seeing where we raised our hands. The marketing person to me wants it in a nice, easy handout to give you and say, this much was spent on this much was spent on that.
So Carroll County government, they're going to do theirs in November. I think Carroll County Schools is putting theirs on the May ballot.
No, in March.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
They're putting it on in March.
They're putting on the March ballot.
Is that? Do you feel like that's a disadvantage at all to be doing the 2 SPLOSTs? Is it confusing to voters? I mean, they're happening in the same year.
No, to me it makes it very simple because, like I was explaining to somebody the other day, we have the Carroll County Performing Arts Center. A lot of people think that belongs to Carroll County government. It belongs to the Carroll County school system. I think it's a fabulous facility. I wish it belonged to Carroll County government, but it is confusing to people, and I can understand completely how all that works with just the name Carroll County by itself. So I think letting the schools do theirs in March, getting out what they want to say, what they want to tell the government, tell the people what they want, is really the best way of doing it. Then we come in March. And in November. Another reason for us to do it in November, we all came into office pretty much in August. It's almost a whole new board. And one needs time to figure out what they want to do and follow the timeline. And there just was not enough time to put it on the same ballot as the eSPLOST.
It is 8:50. Our guest is Carroll County Commission Chairman Michelle Morgan. We'll take our final break and wrap up our program. Again, questions and comments, feel free to call 678-601-8255, 678-601-TALK. Or, of course, you can post your questions and comments to the News Talk 1330 Facebook page as we are streaming live right now. We'll be back in a minute and 42 seconds. Community Voice brought to you by Tanner Health System and Oak Mountain Academy.
At Tanner, we're advancing health throughout West Georgia and East Alabama because we know that exceptional care isn't based on how many patients we serve, but how well we serve them. That's why we're focused on quality, delivering the best possible care for our patients. It's why we're expanding our clinical services and building new facilities to serve our growing community. And it's why we're looking beyond our hospitals and medical practices to develop sustainable wellness and preventive health programs in our region. What makes a hospital great has changed. It's not how many beds we have. It's how well we care for the neighbors who need them. Delivering the right care to every patient, every time, is how Tanner is advancing health with medicine beyond measure. Learn more at tanner.org. or find a physician on our medical staff by calling 770-214-CARE.
A well-rounded education includes much more than just academics. At Oak Mountain Academy, we encourage our students to find their niche in any of our 42 co-curricular opportunities. Over the past 5 years, we have brought home 5 state and 20 regional athletic titles. Our one-act play and literary teams continuously compete at the region and state level, and our academic teams bring home first place more than not. We are warriors creating legacies. To learn more, visit oakmountain.us.
(8:51). Welcome back to the WLBB Community Voice program, News Talk 1330 FM 106.3. I'm Colin Worthington. My guest is Michelle Morgan, Carroll County Commission Chair. We've got about 8 minutes left in the program. And again, thank you for talking with us this morning. I think we did, I think it was confirmed this morning that you will seek re-election in this year, the primary, and then I guess the general as well. Is it are they separated? Is it a Democrat and Republican?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Yes, it is.
Remember. It is partisan. All right. Any chance the county will revisit the T-Splost in a Michelle Morgan term?
No.
Not at all.
I will not. The public made it very clear. I think the word transportation is also very scary to people. When you can say roads and bridges, everyone gets it. But when you say transportation, people start thinking things that we're not in a position to provide here in Carroll County, and we don't need here in Carroll County at this point. So I don't think any time in the next 4 or 5 years.
Haralson County recently had a discussion. Their government had a discussion regarding being a sanctuary for Second Amendment gun sanctuary. And I was surprised to see the response that our story got. I mean, just so many people at Haralson County thought that was a great thing and real supportive of it. And there were a number of people that said, well, Carroll should look into that as well. Is that something that is on the agenda in the next few months?
It's not for me. Right now, I believe, well, I shouldn't say right now, I do believe in the United States Constitution. I am proud to be an American citizen. I have no interest in separating us from our state, no interest in separating us from the United States government. So I believe in that, and I don't think we need any extra layer of bureaucracy on that. I feel strongly that our Constitution has lasted this many years and will continue on.
About 2 weeks ago, Governor Kemp announced that Amazon will start a fulfillment center in not Noonan, in Coweta County, though, next door Coweta County. Did anybody ever talk to Carroll County about that? Did they ever come look here?
I do not know. You'd have to talk to, our economic development, Daniel Jackson and J.R. Charles. I know we probably get ready to announce something really soon for us that's good, but I'm not at liberty to say that's their announcement. But I don't know on that end.
Is it preferable to have that outside group? I mean, I guess you can call them government. I just don't see Carroll tomorrow, and the chamber is part of Carroll County government. But is it beneficial to have a group outside handling those kind of things, rather than Carroll County government, rather than having a group inside Carroll government?
I agree that you have to have that separate arm for the fact that they are. They've got the time to invest in it. They've got the time to have the conversations around the state, the time to invest to talk to all these businesses. Government, I'm trying to do every day what you need done, and taking on that role is a whole different world. So I feel real confident that we have an arm doing those conversations, and the local business leaders taking an interest in that, and then also knowing exactly what do we need here. And I just think it's an area that's I understand economic development, but if I was going to do that, it would have to be a full-time role.
We did talk about the census a little bit to start off the program. Census coming up in 2020. I've seen the agenda for where it starts. It started in Alaska, I think, in the last couple of weeks. What kind of role does Carroll County government take in this? I mean, are you promoting it? Are you encouraging
We
people?
are. As a matter of fact, the city of Carrollton offered to partner with us. They have a communications director who does fabulous work. And I have a mayor's meeting coming up, and we're all going to be coming together and doing one marketing plan so that you see Carroll County's name, Rooteville City's name. And so when you get this materials, you're going to realize it's local, it's real. You get things in the mail, you don't know, did it come from the federal government? Is it a takeoff on something? So it is so important that we each get counted. It relies on dollars for us. It relies on who's going to represent us on the federal level. The more people we have in Georgia, the more we need representation. So it's important that every single person get counted on that day. And so we're going to do a local Carroll County marketing plan that will be rolling out real soon.
And I'm sure we'll talk more about this on the program because people do have concerns about that, about the information they're giving, and we'll be able to talk about that and address their concerns in an upcoming program. Governor Kemp, again, part of his budget, he's encouraged department heads, actually for the past 3-4 months, he's encouraged department heads to look at ways they can cut, and state government, hoping to lower the state budget because they have concerns about money that'll be generated over the coming year. What does that tell you when you're leading the county? How does that affect you, just hearing the governor talk about that and those cuts?
Well, they get their revenues a little bit differently than I do. So it's almost like talking about two different areas of money. Locally, we are so lean. I don't even know how to express that to people. We are so lean in how we are doing our budget that I don't see us doing major cuts for the simple fact that there's really not anywhere to cut. We are so tight on our budget. We do exactly what we say. We don't, we roll back the taxes, so we're not taking in tons. Where we ended up with some extra funds in January when I did the budget amendment was from the sales tax. And thank you, Carroll County, for shopping local. Those extra pennies help pay for $17,000 worth of firefighter training. It paid around $60-something thousand in extra equipment the state did not provide to us for elections equipment. It did pay for an air conditioning unit on the county admin building that just has broken beyond repair. So we were lucky we had some extra sales tax dollars, but we did not pull out of savings. We do not inflate our budget. So I can't speak to the state budget. There are times I wonder, are they overinflated? But I'm not a senator. I'm not a House of Representatives, so I can't speak to that. But locally, I can tell you we are tight on our budget. We are very lean.
We've got 2 minutes left in the show. Once the May elections pass, it's already time to start thinking about the budget again for Carroll County. Last year, you did not raise the millage rate, or actually lowered the millage rate, which in fact just left taxes even for most people. Can you do that 2 years in a row?
I don't know. It'll be interesting to see what the department heads bring forward to us. It'll be interesting to see what the Board of Commissioners bring to me, and it'll be interesting to see what the public wants. One of the things I said was that I would keep taxes low. So far, I've done that 5 years in a row. Supporting public safety, all these things come at a price, and we'll just have to figure out how it does. But I promise you, I will work my hardest, and my brain is mathematical. So I don't see us raising taxes just for the heck of raising taxes.
Michelle Morgan, Carroll County Commission Chairman, our guest on this morning's Community Voice program. Thank you for coming by. Zipped on through the 30 minutes. A real quick show, but again, thank you for coming out this morning.
I appreciate you giving me the opportunity to talk to people.
And we appreciate you tuning in on News Talk 1330, FM 106.3, and on the News Talk 1330 WLBB Facebook page. This entire program will be up on our website, the audio version, newstalk1330.com. So if you missed any of it, you can go back and visit. And, of course, it will be on Facebook forever. 8:59, stay tuned for Beck, Hannity, Limbaugh throughout the day here on News Talk 1330. Have a great Tuesday.